Did you automatically see the different hands changing what the concept was quickly? Was that something that happened? Because you talked about the Black
Oh
Label
yeah,
Society wrestling and it
yeah,
evolved and
yeah. I think it's because they couldn't get the secure the band to front the show. Um, and MTV Viacom owned a piece of the broadcast, and with Big Vision or Houston. Um, and yeah, I mean, we would get notes from the network even before we were shooting, and then while we were shooting. I mean, so originally, I for the pilot, I was the director, but the MTV executives didn't feel I had enough experience to be the director, so they brought in, I believe, a soap opera talk show game show director, and I sat behind him in the truck, and he would ask me, "Is this shot? Should I take that shot?" And I was a little bitter, and I wasn't giving him good guidance, and so I was also then at that point producing the commentary talent. I was in their ear giving them lines, not that Chris Kloss needed lines, but the other guys did. Um, but yeah, we would get notes, and then standards and practices would tell us that we can't use everyday items, even though WWE was doing it. So like brooms or buckets or chairs or even stop signs, which I thought was odd. It's like, well, who the hell can get their hands on a stop sign? But like we were being told what we could and couldn't do with weapons and that kind of stuff, and that was the gimmick of the show. It had good wrestling and good talent, but like everything else, we were told we couldn't do it.
that's
And
crazy how
that's
much
when I
oversight
started.
you had.
Yeah, and so that and the notes and the emails and conference calls and sitting with Kevin, who's coming up with creative with Vampiro. Um, yeah, it was a mess.
There were a lot of musical acts on the show. I believe everyone had, one and they would do guest commentary and you brought that up, feeding lines. How was that whole situation? Because I feel like it could either be great depending on the person or it could be a nightmare.
Yeah. um, I had an issue with everything because people were making fun of wrestling, and I at that point, I really respected pro wrestling. Um, it was my bread and butter, so I had, you had to show it respect. And I'd hear crew members lighting people. I yelled at a few of them a few times, and I got in trouble for it. I told them to shut the fuck up. This is what's paying your bills this week, and just keep your opinions to yourself.
And these are
Um,
Viacom people and
well, they're freelance people,
freelance,
not
but
necessarily people from the network, but lighting people, gaffers, electricians. They're just like talking about the guys in their panties and how this. It was
they
just
weren't
this.
wrestling production people.
They were wrestling production people.
Oh,
They
okay.
were, but they weren't wrestling people. They were a
Yeah.
part of the production.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the fans were fake. I mean, all those there were some real fans sprinkled in there, but all those fans were paid actors.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that's why they were so pretty. Go back and look at it.
Now I'm gonna look and I'm gonna be
um,
like, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
yeah, everyone's really pretty in that crowd. Um, and Ryan Katz, who's now at the WWE, he was a big part of the show. He was the ring announcer, Fabian Kalin. So I was producing him and in his ear, but he was also part of creative. He was at Big Vision. White
He's
Trash
another
Johnny
guy
Webb.
who I'm sorry to interrupt, but he
No,
was another guy who had a lot of, he was doing different companies in California and before he went to WWE. What was your relationship like with him over the years?
oh, Ryan and I
Yeah.
are great friends. He was on this program for a long time too as GQ Money, my program, Championship Wrestling. He managed a lot of talent. I think at the end he was like a voodoo priest speaking in tongues.
I, I don't remember that one, but now I want to see it. Now I'm intrigued.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Luchasaurus was actually one of his proteges back then on our program. With the lizard head off him. But yeah, no, Ryan's a great guy, and I actually saw him just at NXT about a month or two ago. So no, he's doing great.
And he's probably another one of those contacts, like you mentioned, Terry Taylor, where even to this day you can still, work together in that role.
Sure.